I'll post this link to the for loop right here in our notifications because we don't have enough notifications. It's just a place to go to so that you can start poking around looking for JavaScript syntax. W3 Schools is a very good reference. Okay, so let's go ahead, pop open TextPad. And let's see if we can get this to work. HTML, oops, better save it so that it's in the right format to be seen on my screen. Alright, so a header tag, a closed header tag, a body tag, a closed body tag, and then a closed HTML. And inside of the header tag, we're going to put a script tag, and we're going to use document.write just to write something to the screen. So script, in the script, document.write, paragraph, this is my page. And instead it didn't show a thing. Alright, I must have made a mistake. I'm going to put something in the body just to make sure I can see anything. Header 1, hello. I didn't close my script tag. Thank you. Thank you. Slash script. Alright. Alright, I know we did this. On the other page. Yeah, we could do it that way. Yeah, so nothing is actually invoking our script. That's what it appears to me. So let's move our script down into the body section and see if that gives us any performance improvements. So I'm just going to cut that. Wait, where'd my body go? Did I cut the entire body out? Alrighty, that was not my goal. Body slash body. That's my goal. Let's see. If you're still not going to work, okay, fine. I'll go mimic what they have exactly. I shouldn't have had to do that. Worked for you? Then what did I do wrong? So the problem is I did not have a lowercase d there as it needed. Okay, so that's our start. That's our little thing that we can start doing. We can start modifying. Now I want to show y'all what an HTML table looks like. So go ahead and copy out that document right for now. We'll come back to it and do something there. But tables, you know, kind of look like Excel spreadsheets. And I know everybody has seen a table in a web page. There's a place where you can define the headers for the columns. I'm going to skip doing that. The way this works is we open a row and then we put some elements in our row. Okay, so that's our first row. How do we know it's our first row? Because, you know, tr, that opens a row, slash tr closes a row. Let's look at that right now. Make sure that we haven't broken it. All right, that's kind of looking poor. We don't have any borders or anything like that. So let's do style border equals 1. See if that makes it look pretty. All right, there we go. World's most primitive table. Good enough. We can use CSS. You know, we can use the style attribute to make it look far prettier. But that's enough. I want to have more than one row though, because that's boring, right? So I'm going to copy this 1, 2 stuff, and I'm going to paste it in again to make it say 3, 4. And there's our table. 1, 2, 3, 4. We could generate that programmatically. We could use a while loop or something like that to write a table out. Now, since we're not super duper familiar with the syntax of JavaScript at this point, we may run into problems getting that to work, but I bet we can do it. Who can't get this to work? Because I'm just going to comment it out, but I would like for y'all to have seen it before I do that. Got it good? Alrighty. So I'm going to comment my table out. And as always, you could, remove all the spaces from it, and it would work just as good. Don't bother doing that. But let's comment it out. Small arrow, less than, exclamation mark, minus, minus, starts the comment. So put that before the table tag. And then after the closing table tag, down here at the bottom, slash table, just put the closing comment tag, dash dash greater than. Why are we doing that? So that when we run it, it doesn't have that table anymore. All right, I'm going to get back to where we were. Document right, this is my web page. I'd rather that be the header though. H1, this is my web page, backslash H1. Now I want to embed a table in it. So document.write table and if we use backslash ends and make it look all pretty and stuff, but character terms are all ignored and we're not going to be able to see the source code anyways unless we go and look at it, so I'm not going to bother. Now what, according to our stuff down there, do we have to have after the table to denote that a row is beginning? I messed mine all up, but you can look at your code. What was immediately after the table command? Yeah, we had the border. Let's go ahead and put that attribute in there, but then the tr tag begins a row, and then a td does a column within the row. But anyways, yeah, let's put our border in there. Border is equal to 1. Now what would be neat is if we had some kind of loop that wrote out a whole bunch of rows. So let's go back, look at our cheat sheet about how to write a JavaScript loop. Here we go. For I is equal to 0, I is less than a value, I plus plus. This is kind of like a range statement. It's going to start at 0 and it's going to go up to, but not including that. So how many rows do we want in our thing? For I is equal to 0, let's do 10 rows in it. I is less than 10, I plus plus, curly brace. For simplicity's sake, let's make it as simple as possible at this point and we'll expand on it. Document.write tr td hi. /td/tr parentheses. See what we're doing? One item per row, but we're going to print out 10 rows. So we should have, a stack of the word hi, 10 rows in a row. But since we have an open table tag here, we need to close it. I'm going to put some spaces here to make this a little bit more obvious. Right? You don't need those. My end quote. Thank you, thank you. All right, there we go. And then document.write close table. Back, /table. So if we haven't made a syntax error, this should write to our document some HTML that creates a table using a for loop. So we're using JavaScript to create our web page rather than hard coding it into, into the body section itself.
So your document.write closing the table?
Yeah, thank you. I botched that. All right. Make sure it looks like that. Don't do it as I did. I mean, you don't need the extra spaces. Alrighty. There's our stack of 10. Neato keen. Now what are we going to write in our table? I don't know. We don't know how to ask for input. We could put another loop inside here to, to iterate through a bunch of columns. I think that would be neat. So I'm going to change this document write significantly. We're just going to open the column like that. Excuse me, the row. But then we're going to have another for loop inside of it. Need to give it another name better than I. How about x? X is 0, x is less than 10, x plus plus, curly brace. And now we're going to do document.write. We want our opening tag, our opening column item tag, plus the value of maybe x times y, just so we have something to print, right? So we'll see some numbers, the x value times the y value. We're building kind of a little table here. Plus a closing TD tag. And then after we've written out an entire row of TD tags, then we're going to need to close our row. So we need a /tr on the bottom line. Document.write /tr. Think I got it. So this should make a 10 by 10 table. Kind of like a multiplication table. Be a better multiplication table if we started it at 1 though.
You doing x times y. Where does y come from?
Good question. It should be I times x, or x times I, not y. So let's go down here and change that to an I. Thank you for catching my mistakes. That should be x times I. But I want to change it to start at 1 rather than 0. So I'm going to make I equal to 1 there on that line, and x equal to 1 there on that line. If I'd been thinking ahead, I would have made this R for row and C for column. But I don't feel like going back in and making too many changes to it. And there's our table. Nifty slick. So I hope you're getting the idea. The web page can be generated on the fly. This looks pretty much completely different than what we were, not that we had done a table tag, right? But, here we typed it in and it just gave us what we typed in. Here we wrote a program to generate it. Now if we wanted to, we can make this look a lot prettier with style tags or by going and creating CSS, some style tag up in the header that defined, nice appearances for the TD and the TR. But let's do one little bit of that. Where it says table border is equal to 1, take the border equal to 1 out. Nah, leave it in, but do this. Style equals background colon yellow semicolon padding colon 2% semicolon, like that. These are colons, these are semicolons. And I broke it when I did that. Gonna undo it rather than try to fix it. Okay. Let me make sure that I've got it back to a working state on mine. Alright, cool. So again, what we're seeing is that this is still all done on the client side, right? We are getting this entire page as a text file from the server if we had asked for it, to be on the server. Instead, it's located on the local file, on the local file system. So it's still all client side, meaning it runs in the browser. But you saw that we wrote a program that generated HTML. You can write a program that'll generate HTML and put it on the server side. And, then when the browser makes a request, that program generates the HTML, sends it to you, and then your browser goes ahead and interprets it as normal. So rather than have this script here inside of our HTML file, we would most likely put it on the server side. We'd write it in Java or Python, or there's all sorts of different languages that you can use to generate content that will then be sent. I just wanted to demonstrate the idea of generating web content programmatically rather than embedding it in here. All right. Oh, this is a large one. So let's make a button that will then generate that table. So let's do this. It's going to take a little bit of rejiggering, and I don't want to take it too far at one time. But everywhere where you see document write, do this. Put S for text is equal to empty quotes, like that. And then everywhere you see document write, do S plus equals instead. So replace all the document writes with S plus equals. Why are we doing this? We're building a string that we can then write in one fell swoop. So down at the very bottom of it, we need to document write that, just to make sure it's working. Document.write our string. Okay. So this could be a function that returned that string. So we're going to define our function. I'll bring it back in a minute. Use the word function, followed by the name of it, followed by any input parameter that you need. So let's go back to our code, and we're going to call this function make table, and it's not going to accept any parameters, but we are going to return that string out of it. So the very last thing of our make table function needs to be return s. And I took that last document right out. Okay, now it's not doing anything, right? Because that's in a function. The function hasn't been invoked. But we can fix that. Document.write make table. I'm going to get rid of all this stuff inside the comment. Make it a little bit cleaner. My document.write should not be outside of the script tag, by the way. Good thing I deleted all that so I'd spot that. So here's what we've got so far. We've got a function inside of a script tag. The function should look, like that. And then underneath that we have document.write make table. I hope it works. Make sure I saved it. Okay, cool. So we have a function that'll build a string containing all that table text. Now, do you remember on Tuesday when we did that .enter HTML to replace some text? Let's get rid of that header comment. Let's cut that out, that s plus equals header. And so we need to put an element in here that has an ID, and then we need to find that element using getElementById, and then we're going to change it with the results. So I am going to just pretty much type in what I see there underneath my script tag. So right here underneath my script tag, before my closed body tag, I'm going to make a paragraph tag that says ID is equal to tab for table, and this is going to say insert table here /p. Now we're going to make a button, and the button is going to call a function. Button type is equal to button. OnClick is equal to, we haven't created this function yet, but we will, add table. Click me. I should have put an end quote, an end brace right there before click me, so I'm going to add that to the next line. And then I'm going to do /button underneath it. So the click me function, let's comment out this document write, because we don't want to write our table automatically anymore. And then let's run it just to make sure that we get our button on the screen. Kind of doing an incremental approach. Yeah, it says insert table here, click me. It doesn't do anything, but if that doesn't work for y'all, it's a problem, and we're going to need to go back and fix. So inside of our script, how do we define a function? What's the keyword to define a function? Because we need to do add table. Function, add table. This is still inside the script tag. And we're going to do this line. E is equal to document.get element by ID, where the E and the B and the I are capitalized. So inside here, E is equal to document.get element by ID. And what did we call our paragraph? What is this ID? Tab. Yeah. And then we're going to change his inner HTML to something just to make sure it works, and then we will change his inner HTML to our table. But firstly, we're just going to set e.inner HTML equal to a simple message. E.inner, and then everything else is cap, HTML equals yay. Just to prove it works. Okay. So when I clicked it, it changed it to yay. So what are we going to make it do instead? Instead of printing out yay, we're going to call our function make table. So E is equal to inner HTML. Well, let's get our table text. Text is equal to make table. I'm not liking the fact that that's blue. I hope that's not a keyword. Guess we could change it. TXT is equal to make table, and then inner HTML is equal to TXT, like that. And when I click me, it adds the table there. So we're making interactive web pages. So this is going to be the last thing we do today. On Tuesday, we will cover using Python to interact with web pages, which is cool because we know Python, right? But now we're going to know enough. The only thing that we haven't covered that assignment uses is, I think that it uses a pull-down menu or checkboxes. I don't recall which, but we can demonstrate those very quickly at the beginning of class, and then we'll be good to go. So did everybody get a button on their screen? Did everybody get their button to change the text? If you got that, great. Sure. I deleted it, right. Yeah. It was confusing me, so I got rid of it all. Okay, guys, I'm going to need a teacher's pet to, well, go ahead and pause the recording. Let's make the Dropbox first, not get ahead of myself.